I'm excited about some of these picks. Obviously, you know the pick I'm not excited about, and we will get to that hopefully quickly. But let's start right off with the 19th pick. We all kind of were iffy about it. From Kentucky, Jamin Davis. What did you think about him, man?
The grade I'm going to give him this year is a D because he was not an impactful player. But I am hopeful for the future because they've already announced that they asked him to play middle linebacker this year. They're moving him to outside linebacker because they just feel like he can be a lot more instinctive out there and do things that he does well. So moving to a different position, hopefully we'll give him a chance to shine more. But I mean, this year you're the first round pick. John Bostic goes down. We're expecting you to do something, and he really wasn't. So I had to kind of go harsh, and I'll give him a D.
Yeah, harsh. That's not harsh. I can give him an F plus. Look, man, for being the 19th pick, we talked about this all offseason, who we wanted to get. Even when you were on the field and looked like you didn't know what was going on, you started to get it eventually, but not enough. You'd be that top pick. I wanted a lot more from you. So I'm grading him a lot harsher. I got to go F plus because I'm trying to have the hope that you have. New name, new leaf, turning it over. Damn, F plus. Yes, Nathan, and that's on a curve. All right, I'm curving up.
He did give him a C plus at first. I guess he started thinking about it a little bit more.
Yeah, to me,
grade him on a curve. He said. yeah.
So, all right, number 2. I'll start with this one. Sam Cosmi. I'm going to give him a B. I thought he played really well this year. He was part of that O-line that worked in it. And I really – you talked to me about this in the beginning of the year about him being, reminding you of the John Jansen type, the big, strong O-lineman and doing his thing. I definitely think he played well for him being a second-round pick that we got. I thought he played very well for us. So I got to go B on this one. What do you think?
Yeah, I was thinking B. I was like B plus, B. I can't give him a B plus because he did get injured, and some of this stuff they can't prevent. But there at one point we didn't have Sheriff and Cosmi out there, and we were trotting Cornelius Lucas out for like 7 or 8 games, and so now we're talking half the season. So that is concerning. But no, we needed that bookend after releasing Morgan Moses. And that just is going to continue for the Washington Redskins football team, Commanders now for the last 15 years or longer. Number 76, right tackle. That's what you plug in.
I love it. I absolutely love it. Real quick, Nathan said, if you could go back on the draft, would you have traded for the 19th for something? I don't think. I think I'm fine with what we did because that was the position we needed. It just didn't pan out the way we wanted it to.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard because so JOK had himself a good season. He really did. But JOK would have played for us the role that Landon Collins did.
Right.
So it's like he had a better season, but he fit with Cleveland in that role that they were able to find where Landon Collins did really well. The other guy that we were looking at hard is Zaven Collins. But he was that outside pass rusher. So the middle linebacker is what we didn't get. I don't know. We probably have to look at like other positions of the draft, and I can't think of people off the top of my head. Like there was like Elijah Moore who showed some promise for the Jets. So could we have gone wide receiver instead? Yeah, by all means. Rashad Bateman, that type of stuff. I'd have to look a little bit further. Nate put me on the spot.
Right. Appreciate you joining us, Nathan. Hitting us with the questions. Nate, man, I don't know if you've already, but if you can share it in the group chat. I'm on my phone right now, so I can't do all the sharing. I agree with Cosmi.
Do it. This is you. Next one's you.
Just move on, Will.
It is. We've beaten this horse dead. Let's hope year 2 pans out a lot better because what the F happened to De'Ami Brown?
You know what? touted this guy coming out of college. I said he was going to be great. I do think the fact that Curtis Samuel was in, I think that played a major role. I think the fact that Taylor Heineke was in there and he didn't have the practice with Diami. Maybe Diami wasn't comfortable, whatever would have you. But I really feel like that injury to Curtis Samuel really played a factor. And once, Heineke came in, I think things were a little dumbed down maybe and not the best. But all that being said, it doesn't matter. He still did not do anything. Yeah. The only highlight I could really remember is a special teams tackle that he made, and I was hooting and hollering. Like, there he is. I see him. But other than that, that's it.
Yeah, I mean, I'll say this. Depending on who we bring in at free agency or the draft, De'Ami Brown needs to recognize that you need to give up your number. If someone wants number 2, you do not have rights to that anymore based on your past performance. And you got to hope that whoever is our quarterback next year, Russell Wilson, can get him the ball. Because I do think some of the things they wanted to use De'Ami for, like deep threats, I mean, you saw the very first play in the Dallas game, and Heineke underthrew the ball. And so let's think positive that we just didn't have the quarterback to exploit what he can do best. And in 2022 he will explode.
Sam Howell. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, let's hope for the next year. But the next person on this list very much took up for that. Mr. Benjamin St. Juste. Will, what's your grade for him, man?
Oh, whoops! I skipped ahead. So I'm going to go C.
Okay.
But if you had asked me this in week 6, I probably would have been B plus A.
Yeah.
I dropped him because he ended up suffering multiple concussions that cost him half of his season, and I'm worried about what does that mean for his longevity, right. And what is his career going to be if you're having already. It starts to make me think about Jordan Reed. But because he was fast tracking to be the stud 3rd round pick that we got, like you said, he was replacing William Jackson, that type of stuff. Now, the only thing that was a positive of BSJ being out, they moved Kendall Fuller back to the outside and out of the slot because Kendall was really struggling at slot, and they thought he could be interchangeable like he had been for us previously, and he wasn't. And when Kendall Fuller got moved to the outside permanently, he started playing better. So there was a little bit of that. So, it's going to change things up for next year. But, yeah, he had hit a lot of promise. He got hurt and was out for the rest of the season. I don't know what his future means, so that's why I'm going to give him a C.
Yeah. No, I'm with you, Nate. Same thing. Very excited about his progress. Very excited about his promise that, coming in early in the year. But, again, best ability is availability. And when he's out, this is as high as it can go, and I would have stretched and said, give us a couple more games. I would have said B minus B. I would have, graded him on a super curve, jumping him up there. But yeah, you got to be on the field. And we definitely missed him later in the year on covering some of those big name receivers that we had to face. So yeah, I'm with you on that. And hey, I said it. I'm going super high for my next guy, John Bates. A. I'm giving him an A because I did not expect anything out of this man. Obviously, we thought Logan Thomas was going to be our guy, but then Logan Thomas was out. Then we had Sprinkle was gone. We had Seals
Jones. Yeah,
Seals Jones. He underperformed. I didn't think Bates was going to be anything outside of a blocking tight end and somebody that came in on special teams. He proved to be a sure-handed receiving tight end. He can block. He can break tackles, do what he had to do. And I maybe need to keep control of the ball. There was that one that could have been a fumble, but then, we got it back against Tampa Bay. But, definitely got to give this man his due because he blew every expectation I had for him out of the water. So I'm going to go give him an A because I like the guy. What you got?
Yeah, well, it makes me think back to why you're so right with Jamin Davis has to be an F because if you're a first-round pick and don't produce, you're going to get graded harshly. And in saying that, if you're a 4th-round pick and you do produce, you're going to get graded even higher. Do you remember draft day?
Yeah.
They announced it, and the three of us went, "Who the is this?" and Ab in particular was like, "Why are we getting Brevin Jordan? He's out there from Miami." And then Todd McShay got on there and he said, "This is a great pick." They're like, "This guy is a red zone, first down, sure-handed threat. He's not going to outrun anybody, but if you get him open in space, he's going to bring the ball down." And that's exactly what he did for us. You know, and like you said, I thought, okay, it's going to be a blocking tight end. He's like that Logan Paulson that we had for years. Like, oh, there we go. They're running to the right side. Yeah, Bates is on the right side of the line. This is where, you know, where our offense got so dang predictable. I'm sitting up there in the, you know, the 400 section of FedEx going, what are we doing? Can we get some creativity out here? I know what we're doing. You know, but no, he became great, and he was so relied upon with all of our tight end injuries. So yeah, no, I'll go B plus because he pressed the living daylights out of me.
Oh yeah, and I definitely want to see how he comes in next year with Logan back and kind of getting into the fold. But I think he'll be a good number 2 tight end, and I'm very eager to see. Very eager to see he does. Moving on, out of I believe Cincinnati, Derek Forrest. What do you think about him?
Oh, you're giving me the tough one. Yes. I see how you did that. Hey, what do you think about this guy? So
debate for them.
Right. He was injured in the beginning of the season. He was drafted to play special teams for us and then developed, and he did that. So he wasn't impactful, but he sort of did his job, his expectations. So I guess I'll give him a C. I'll give him a C. I'll be nice, you know. But he did nothing. You know, he made a couple special teams tackles, and that's kind of like what they perceived him at coming out of college. So I guess since he followed along in suit, I'll give him a C.
Yeah, I'll stick with that too. On the field, he, like you said, he did what we asked him to do. He played special teams. You know, I was excited when I heard his name, but even though I didn't hear it all the time, but he was out there. He did what that pick required him to do. I don't think you can go any higher than a C, and he didn't do so terrible that I got to start dropping him to the D or the F. You know what I mean? And maybe that's because I didn't have such great expectations for this guy. But he did what he asked him to do. That was that. So stick with C, I think, just to be fair. And I'll go next, Mr. Ben Cheeseman. Now, this is going to be interesting because we went through three different kickers?
Yeah.
4. Yeah, 3 different kickers. And, you know, obviously Dustin Hopkins had a lot of the miss issues. Then we had Blewett. And then we had the next guy. So, you know, there's a lot to be, you know, said with the timing and that stuff. And we don't know if those are the reasons why some of those kicks were missed. I personally, he's always going to be judged against the guy that we had in there in that spot for years and had been doing a consistent job. So with that, I gotta go just to see. Like he did what he was asked to do, but there were some timing issues and there were some things that weren't necessarily his fault, but kicker, long snapper, and the kicker, holder, and long snapper are all kind of in unison. So I kind of grade them the way I grade kind of the kicking situation, but not that bad because he wasn't kicking it. So I'll give him a C and just kind of stick with that.
Sure. So putting aside the fact that we use a draft pick on a long snapper, I can't fault the man for who selected him and when they selected him. I'm just going to grade his performance, and I'm going to go with the B. There definitely was some issues in the beginning of the year with Hopkins, and I don't know who to blame for that because I think Hopkins went to San Diego / LA and has done really well. So it makes you wonder, like, well, wait a second here, but Cheese did really well with Joey Sly kicking, and I can tell you I'm giving him a B because I bet the Green Bay Packers wish they had drafted him.
Yes.
I'll tell you that.
Absolutely.
You know? And like you said, the fact that, he replaced someone who had been there forever. So there was always going to be the eyes on him, like, whoa, you're replacing Nick Sundberg, who's also a good dude in the community. And I felt that he performed very well. And okay, so we used our 6th-round pick, but we got a long snapper for the next 10 years. All right.
Yeah. Good. Right. So I'm with you on that. Next, moving on to our 6th-round pick, William Bradley King. What do you think about this guy?
It's kind of hard to grade this guy. So first off, I gotta hit him a little bit because he didn't make the team. He didn't make the 53. Mm-hmm. He made it later on in the season, and he actually made a couple plays and some pressures. It's like if you're drafting a 7th-round pick, 6th-round pick, what are you expecting? Are you expecting them to be an everyday starter, or are you expecting them to sit, learn, and flash when they get a chance? And if that's the case, he did that. So I guess I have to give him grade him like I did Forrest, and that's a C.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, for 6th round, like you said, he came in when we had a lot of deals with the injuries and COVID and a lot of that stuff. A bunch of times where it was like, oh, William Bradley King is playing in this game, or he's starting, or he's doing this. So, I mean, we didn't expect anything. So the fact that he did do that was solid. And he did make a couple plays. I will go B- because honestly, like you said, he was cut, but at the same time, he got back on the team, was able to come in and make some contributions. And outside, after Derek Forrest down the list, I'm thinking special teams, like Cheeseman. I'm thinking you're a special teams guy. I really am not expecting anything from you, but was able to contribute and helped out in that 4-game win streak that we had. So I mean, I'll give him a B- on that. I'm grading on the curve. Trying to be nice. And I'll move on to Shaka Tony. I think I kind of got to go same with that. I mean, I got to go C because I didn't expect him to be able to get in there. He didn't. I'm just going to go C with that because I didn't expect to see these two guys in there playing. These were two guys that we had kind of talked about on our initial, 53 man and will they make the cut and this and that. He contributed, did what he was asked to do. He didn't blow us away, but at the same time, he was on the field with his necessary. So I'm giving him a C. What do you think?
So, yeah, I mean, my grade is going to be a D+ because he did the opposite of Bradley King. He made the roster. He made the 53 out of camp. When he sat his time, which was expected behind Sweat and Sweat, Young, and then even James Smith-Williams. But then at one point he started to get some playing time when those guys got hurt, and Ron was like, "Hey, you got to watch this guy. This guy's got some things to him." And then he kind of fell off. And so I think from the fact that he was kind of emerging, showing some speed, and then kind of went away, it's like he tailed off, and so that's why I'm going to give him a D+.
Yeah, I hear that. I think this is David Wright. The news this morning said the short version.
He already said that earlier. We heard you before, buddy.
Nobody's listening to that.
Exactly. I just went, all right, delete. Yep. Yeah. But I did read it, dang it.
And last but most certainly not least, our running back in undrafted free agent, Mr. Jarrett Patterson. I personally, I got to give this guy a B. Of all the running backs he had, he started off, I believe, 6th on that list, made the final 53 as a 3rd guy with his injury issues and his fumbling issues, McKissick being out. Patterson stepped up and later in the season, definitely started, making his way, had a couple touchdowns. I got to give him a B, because the fact that he didn't even make the team, the fact that he wasn't even drafted, and we know what he did in college, but for him to come in and fill in a role and ready to play, hometown kid. You know, him and Chase are good buddies. You know, so I loved his progress, and I hopefully only see big things. So I'm gonna give him a B. What you got, Will?
Yeah, I think B's a great grade. You know, I was kind of thinking here, like, how do you grade someone who was undrafted, who made the roster, and then who made an impact? Like, I'm like, do I go as far as high as an A? You know, and so it's like, what were our expectations, and does that factor in? But no, he made some plays. You know, he moved the ball. He showed that he belongs in this league. He belongs on the team. He's got a role, and so that's huge. So I'm going to go B plus. I talked myself into it. Like, you know, he did a heck of a job, and I'm glad we got him, and look forward to see what else he can evolve in next year.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Anthony says, "What's good, fellas?"
That's nice.
What's up, Kara? How you doing now? And he said, B plus. So there we have it. Those are the draft grades. Will, I'm gonna come to you again. All our draft picks. How did we do after the year's done? How did we do last year?
I'm gonna go harsh. I'm gonna go D plus, because our first and third round picks that we needed to help us didn't do it. So I can't. You know, I was close to calling it a wash and calling it a C, but besides Sam Cosmi, who really helped us on an every game basis, and John Bates, like you said, did help us out tremendously, but we needed more. We needed more, you know, impact from these guys. So I have to go D plus.
Yeah, and I pretty much the same, but a little slight higher C minus, because of, you know, Cosby did what he was supposed to do as a second pick. I'm with that. But then you have Bates, you have Cheeseman, Bradley King, Shaka Tony, Jarrett Patterson. Some of these other guys that we weren't expecting, they got in to do something, and that helped. And it kind of helped out for the first and the third that were garbage. Benjamin St. Juste played great when he played, so I don't want to necessarily penalize him that much for his injury. But, you know, C minus. Pretty much the same, because Nathan, I think you said it best. There is potential there.
Yes, there's room for improvement. Absolutely.
Every one of the guys got some kind of action, some kind of PT, and, you know, whether it's injury, COVID, or whatever that might have kept them off the field, we still got something from everybody. So we'll see. Yep, said you pick 11th this year. Hopefully you'll draft better.
Fact.
Yeah.
Have to. Like, we have to hit. We can't afford to do this 2 years in a row of having marginal impact by our top four picks.
Yeah.